Hello, ladies and gentlemen of the auto care industry. I'm Bill Hanvey, President and CEO of the Auto Care Association. During the past week, there's been a tremendous amount of activity on the Repair Act, and I wanted to make sure that you heard it from me exactly what's happening. So for those of you that attended our Connect conference, you heard me say on Wednesday, the committee has approved our bill, we're in good shape, we're marching forward, and things look really good. So over the course of a few days, things changed significantly. What happened was, at the last hour, the dealers rallied their constituents and made numerous phone calls to legislative offices, particularly to those members of the Energy and Commerce Committee. As a result of that, the committee had to take a different stance on the Repair Act. So here's what actually happened, and I wanted to make sure that everybody understood where we are and the fact that we're still in the game. So here's what happened. The committee did approve a set of right to repair related provisions as part of the safety title. However, these provisions differ materially from the bipartisan Repair Act that the Auto Care Association and industry stakeholders have supported. The provisions adopted by the committee, number one, they codify the existing MOU for both light-duty and heavy-duty vehicles, formalizing a long-standing commitments on access to certain repair and service information. Secondly, it establishes the FTC as the enforcement authority, allowing violations of these provisions to be treated as unfair or deceptive practices. Thirdly, it directs the FTC to conduct a comprehensive study of barriers in the motor vehicle aftermarket, including access to data, parts, tools, and the impact of increasing vehicle software and electronics, with a report to Congress within 4 years. And finally, preserving existing state frameworks, including laws and initiatives in states such as Massachusetts and Maine, by clarifying the relationship between federal and state authorities. To be honest with you, this is really about preemption, whether the Repair Act preempts the laws in Massachusetts and Maine. And the way that it's written, this legislation does not preempt those laws. However, there's some language that we need to do to strengthen that exemption. While the committee's action marks forward progress, the adopted language does not fully reflect the scope of the Repair Act. Most notably, it does not include comprehensive telematic provisions which are central to ensuring fair access to wirely transmitted maintenance and repair data. Also, it does not directly address aftermarket parts manufacturer access and integration protections to the extent envisioned in the Repair Act. The committee's action represents the first significant congressional movement on federal right to repair legislation in several years, and it establishes a framework for federal enforcement and further policy development. It also initiates a formal federal review of ongoing market barriers. At the same time, the outcome falls short of delivering the full set of protections and access provisions sought by the aftermarket industry and supported in the Repair Act. I know it's disappointing, but the legislative process is ongoing. So what this means, ladies and gentlemen, is that we're still alive. There's still opportunities for us to get language changed in the Rules Committee or in the Senate. And we are working tirelessly on your behalf. This is not over until we say it's over. So we're going to continually work every angle that we can find, and we're going to need your industry support more now than ever. So stay tuned. I hope this cleared things up for you, but the message is the fight continues, and we're not done until we say it's done. Thank you so much for your support and engagement, everybody. You'll be hearing from us shortly on how you can be involved in this struggle for our industry's future. Thank you so much, everybody.